Good morning. I made a video this past weekend and I entitled it The Elephant in the Room. And in the video, I talked about ways to address racism in our country. And I said that we should address it in small doses, the way we take medication. I think it's best addressed if we do it with people that we know, people that we care about, because a personal um, connection sometimes is better than if it's a celebrity or someone we don't know. So when I made that video, I had no idea that in my home state of Alabama, statues would be taken down. Civil War monuments would be taken down and removed by protesters, of course. Sadly, our local government officials were unable to make these decisions to remove these statues and have them placed in a place where the people who want to see them and like them can go and see them and like them. But let me make this a little bit more personal for those of you who know me. As I've said many times, I rarely say the name of the school that I went to, but I did graduate from Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery, Alabama. And I don't say it because I found no joy in having to attend a school named for the general who led the Confederate Army, that had they had their way, I would probably still be an enslaved human being in this country. But they lost. And Lee surrendered to Grant. So it's always baffled me why we have schools and statues and military bases named for and celebrating Confederate soldiers and their ideals. It bothers me that my tax dollars go to places like schools and government buildings where many of these statues and monuments are on display. So I'm not sad that the statue was taken down from the school, and I hope that in the near future they can legislate and agree to rename the schools that are named for the Confederate generals and presidents and other officers. That's just my sincere hope. Has nothing to do with my friends who love and revere their school and they're so proud. And I know some of them don't realize what their excitement and pride about it does to people like me. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm unapologetic. If you don't get how I feel and you can embrace it, it's okay. I don't care. I feel how I feel. I just don't think we should have those symbols, because how can you celebrate something that so blatantly was about hating people who look like me, wanting to continue to enslave people who look like me? How can you say you love me and I'm your friend and all of that, and at the same time have a rebel flag and embrace the Confederacy? The two can't be in the same space. I don't think a lot of people who I know from the different southern states I've lived in have even thought about it at that level. I think it is a history that has been passed down in their homes, in our schools, and they've been taught that this is something to be proud of. I don't want to take that away from you. But what I want to give to you is, while you are proud of that thing that you are proud of and celebrate is something that causes pain and sadness to me and many of the people who look like me. Now, I'm a history buff. I love history. I was a signature away from being a history major. True story. So I don't want to take the history away. What I want to do is change the narrative of how we tell the history. We can't change it. It happened. It's real. But the South lost. Where else do you go and the loser gets the trophy? Give me a break. Let's just be real about this. So having said that, I have no qualms about the statues being taken down. And as I've said, I hope they rename some of these institutions something else. I don't care what they name it. I do know it is painful for a lot of people who feel a loss that the statue was taken down. But I also know that it has been painful for a lot of us to have to walk past that statue every day, going into the school and coming out of the school. Yeah. So I continue to just tell people I went to school at 225 Ann Street. If they look it up, then they know. I heard the governor of Minnesota say this morning, he gets not just the protesting, but now he gets the value of the rioting. And get this, if you missed it, I thought this was so powerful. He said the unrest and the discomfort and the fear that white Americans are feeling about the riots and the destruction is the same unrest that African Americans feel while driving black, while walking while black, while in the park while black. Oh my gosh, if only everybody who is white and feeling this unrest could feel and understand the power behind what that man said. He finally got it. He said, what he's feeling now must be the anguish that African Americans feel every day. The African American mothers feel when they put their black sons in a vehicle to go somewhere and expect them to return home safely. Hallelujah, he got it. You know what it actually did for me? I got it too. Because I had my own personal discomfort about the rioting, not from a place of fear for myself, but I'm just a person that just doesn't like to see things torn up. But it gave me a new perspective. Not that I'm celebrating and wanting people to continue to do it, but that the things that have already happened have caused discomfort and has caused someone to stop and change their thinking and say, oh, I get it. The fear that I have right now is what you have been experiencing. And I'm like, yes. It reminded me of a time back in the 80s, I used to sing with a gospel group, Ed Melvin and Truth. And we were headlining a concert here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It was a big deal to us. It may not have been a big deal to anybody else, but we were very excited. So I, at the time, young wife of a military officer, I invited the ladies at my coffee group to come and attend the concert. Needless to say, there were only four black women in this coffee group at the time. And so our commander's wife decided she would come, and she did. And she and her husband and their daughter came to the concert. After the concert was over, she came back to our coffee group, and she was telling everybody, it was a really nice event, and she hated they missed it. But then she got really honest, and she said it was the first time in her life that she and her family had been the only white people at an event. She talked about the travels they had around the world, other countries they had lived in. She said, but this was the first time ever. And she admitted that she was a bit uncomfortable. And she even went so far as to tell us when she looked out across this vast audience, She did recognize a face. It was another one of the officer's wives. It was a black lady. She recognized her and beckoned her to come and sit with, could they sit together? And they did. And that was in 1987, 88. And the fact that she felt compelled to come back and tell the other white officers' wives how she felt in that moment was powerful to me. Some people in the room even wept because she had candidly, honestly admitted and acknowledged that for the first time in her white life, she felt uncomfortable. But what brought the black women in the room to tears was when she said, "Oh my God, that must be how you guys feel all the time." Yeah, think? So that's why I said small doses. Small doses. Small doses. So while I know some of my friends are hurting that the statue was removed from our high school, I am sorry that you are hurt. I am. I am not sorry that the statue was removed, and I wholeheartedly hope it is not replaced. I'm sure this will anger some of my classmates. It's not my intent to anger you. And if you cannot find it in your heart and soul to understand what it must have felt like for me and others like me to walk into that school and other places that we've had to go around our country and know what it means for us to have to attend a place named for a person who would have had me live in a shack with a dirt floor and perhaps serve their food, pick their cotton, or nurse their children. I won't even begin to name some of the atrocities that may have happened to me in that circumstance. But I'm sorry. And anyway, that's a small dose for today. I love you. Have a great day. Keep hope alive. And Black Lives Matter.